Good afternoon, everybody. Are you sitting comfortably? No, that's all right. We'll begin anyway. Good afternoon. Welcome to the first of the Lightning Talk sessions. We've got 4 presentations. The first one is a piece of theatre. So we have Judit Foglszinger and Associates performing Waiting for AM.
Yeah, we will do a little drama about the NM process. Things like this happen if you read too much of the graphics lessons and get insane. And if you take the process both too serious and not serious enough. I will play an OTD, and Bremner will play an applicant, and that's totally what we are. Hi, what are you reading?
Oh, Debian policy.
Why are you reading a printout of the Debian policy?
I am in the NM process.
Ah, did you already get a name assigned?
Oh, yeah.
How long did you wait?
5.
5 months? 5 years? Or what?
No, 5 days.
What? Did you bribe someone?
Oh, could it happen faster if I did? No bribes.
And how is it going with your AM?
Well, he is MIA.
Oh, I understand. Is it since half a year or more?
No, 2 weeks.
What? You should be rejected for being that impatient.
Maybe, but actually, one is not rejected, just the process is cancelled.
That's weird. Where's the punishment?
I think there's no punishment.
And what are you going to do now? Complain to Frontend?
No, they're even more MIA. I'm going to wait for my AM.
We can wait together.
Okay. Here, have some Debian policy.
Oh, great.
Well, 6 months later. 6 months later, our actor is MIA.
Oh, hi. Hi, I just returned from my unannounced vacation. I have something for you. The process is almost done. You only need to answer this small and absolutely reasonable set of questions.
What?
Oh, and if you have any questions, Gunnar can help you.
It's 1 year. Please stand by. Welcher? Was soll ich das wissen? Sehe ich aus, als ob ich Videoteam wäre? Please hold. Oh, there we go. Kitte. It's.
So. And let's do it without the speaker notes. Okay, so it's 1 year. So it's a pun of words, so it's ITS. What's ITS? That was a process we invented a year ago, in the last DebConf, and it stands for intent to salvage or polite hijacking. So, how to hijack a package? So, yeah, find one, file an ITS bug, wait 3 weeks, do a delayed upload, went well, it's yours. So, ITS had some basic principles in mind when we have designed that during the last DebConf. And one thing is it broke?
No, it worked. It worked.
Okay. So, one thing was to provide protection for the maintainer and for the teams holding the packages by having some easy guidelines and an easy way to stop the process if they are not fond of the process. And as there was concern about big world vacations, we also put in some nice delays in there that no one will be finding his package being removed from his maintainership when coming back from his vacation. So, and on the other side, it also provides protection for the salvagers, again, because of the guidelines. And it's maybe not easy for newbies to take over packages, so it was especially important for us to give guidelines for newcomers to get the packages and not being shouted at them afterwards. And of course, advanced users with thick skins, they did hijacks before, they can still do it now, so no problem. So that's a recap about the ITS. So let's take a look how well it worked. And I queried UDD yesterday and looked at the statistics and found that we had 43 bugs filed, 43 ITS bugs, 28 are done, so that means in new hands, and 15, correction, this morning there was another one, 16 are still in progress or in the open state. Let's look at the done. So, for 28 done done ITS, I lied before. 21's got new maintainers and 2 new co-maintainers. Only 3 have been opposed by maintainers, by existing maintainers, and well, 2 has closed without action, and as the sum is 27 and I had 28, well, I messed somewhere up the statistics. And 16 open, which are also quite kind of interesting statistics. 10 of them were filing the ITS and then went MIA. 4 of them are waiting currently at the 21 days delay. 2 have got the okay by the current maintenance, but somehow stalled. And well, 1 said I'm uploaded to delayed, but the upload never reached the archives. So that's all. 45 seconds. 1 quick question. Otherwise, see the DevRef chapter 5.12 for instruction how to salvage your favorite package.
Thank you, Toby. Next up, Dr. Jackson, doing a thing which I'm about to identify. Oh, sorry. Git-debpush, upload by pushing a git tag. Ready? Nearly ready. As the actress said to the bishop. Oh, Toby knows. Oh, it's down there.
So I have a tradition of doing uploads on the stage. These demos are getting shorter and shorter because I'm working to make uploads easier. So on to the demo. You see, I have here, unfortunately, I didn't have a real package to upload, so I'm going to upload this testing package, but it is going really too experimental. Sorry about that. I forgot how to drive my Git, apparently. I'm just going to make my key available, and then I'm going to do the actual upload. I spent like 30 seconds finalizing the changelog there. What was with that? Okay, so my key's available. I've got this window here, and I just need to type the rune. Right, so that is signing a tag. It's sending it to Salsa. That's it, I'm done. Now, obviously, the archive is a bit slower than that. And in fact, on the other VC, we have an incomprehensibly weird web service. Now, I'm just running this in kind of, it's a prototype. It's running on my laptop. That is converting my Git tag, checking the signature, converting it to a source package, sending the source package to the archive. Right now it's signing it with my key. The plan is that it will sign it with an infrastructure key. And this is fire and forget. So that's why I've got the text so small here. Obviously this takes a little while because it's messing about with tarballs and things. Not entirely fast, not entirely modern. But as far as you're concerned, all you have to do is that. Thanks very much to Sean, who wrote about half of this. He wrote the git-debpush utility. And thanks to everybody who's been so supportive. I'm looking forward to actually getting a deployed version of this service. Well, there's a bit of like privsep work to be done, and we need to talk about how to deploy it, but real soon now, hopefully. You know, real soon now by Debian terms anyway. Thank you. I've got 1.5 minutes for questions. No? Okay, thank you very much.
At this point, I would also like to say, hi, Squitten, we miss you. Now, for a bit of excitement, we have the other half of the Lightning Talks team doing a demo of, is it possible, I ask, to install Debian in the space of Lightning Talk? Well, I mean, we know what happens when headlines ask questions, but we're going to try anyway.
Here we have a default Debian live image with the GNOME desktop, and I'm going to click on the installer in the panel. And yes, I don't have a power source, but YOLO. And we're going to choose the correct time zone. Keyboard layout happens to be correct. Going to install to the whole disk. And we'll just give it a super secure username and password. And start the installation. So I started that first to get the worst out of the way. But as Nattie mentioned, the question of this Lightning Talk is, can we install Debian in the time it takes to do a Lightning Talk? And the answer is no. I rehearsed this a few times, and I got it down to 5 minutes and 38 seconds. And because Lightning Talk is 5 minutes, it barely doesn't fit. So if you can borrow me just a teeny tiny bit of your time, we can actually turn this into a yes. So that installer you just saw is called Calamares. It's a new installer that I started packaging for Debian derivatives initially. It calls itself the Universal Installer Framework, which kind of makes it a nice fit for Debian, which is the universal operating system. A few other distributions have also packaged this and used this as their installer. There's a Fedora screenshot there as well. Fedora doesn't use it by default, but they also include some configuration for Calamares. And does it fit here? The upstream website there has more information about the installer itself. So, in Debian, I initially packaged just Calamares. It's the package and source just as it exists upstream. No modification or anything, and that's still how it exists inside of Debian. And then I started working on a package called Calamares Settings Debian. This was initially meant as just an example of how to configure Calamares and make it install your system, because in Debian it needed some additional work to actually work, like setting up your apt sources while you're installing, setting up grub or grub EFI. I put the whole list of things that I did there up the screen. And it worked quite well. And then Sledge said, hey, let's try it for Debian Live and see what happens. And I actually thought that this would never, ever happen in an official Debian ISO image, that we have an extra installer installed in Debian. And it turned out well, and people liked it, and we got good feedback. And then eventually in the official Buster images, it was included by default. And so far the feedback all around has been really good about it. So I just realized I haven't actually said more about what Calamares actually is. So as you saw in the beginning, it's a very basic installer. You click next, make a few choices, and continue that until you finish. And it's very easy for a typical desktop user to use. It doesn't have all the features that DI has. So the version we have in Debian at the moment doesn't do RAID. The features for RAID only came during the freeze, and I didn't want to enable that at compile time because it was still very experimental, and I thought it's better that we leave that out for now. But for the typical laptop or desktop user at home, it's a lot more efficient and easier to use than DI is, and a lot less intimidating as well. So for Bullseye, I don't have a long list of improvements planned yet, but there's probably more to come. So there's a few scripts that I want to clean up and improve. We currently don't have a nice slideshow during installation because I didn't figure out how to do the translations for those in time. But for Bullseye, we will have enable the RAID support that I just mentioned, and also add some Debian-specific screens. Like at the moment, it's not possible to click I want to participate in PopCon, and then that will also be auto-configured for you. So a user still has to manually install PopCon afterwards if they want that. Oh, and that's as far as I got with my slides because I was sick the last 2 days. But let's see how far the installation is going. So that's the one slide that we do have at the moment. At the moment, it just says sit back, and the setup will complete in a few minutes. And hopefully it will finish in 2 minutes, maybe 2.5. I think I went through the slides a bit quicker than I originally planned. But if there's questions in the meantime, now's maybe a good time to do that while we have a minute or two to Ben.
Yeah, 20 seconds officially.
Oh, really? Let's see, this is exciting. Yeah.
Questions, everybody? Make sure I can see you.
So does the Calamares installer just copy the squash image to the disk, or is it using the bootstrap and then installing additional package from a mirror?
It just uses the bootstrap. No, I'm completely lying. It just copies the squash FS, and then if you need additional packages, it will first look on the local installation media, and if it's not on there, it will install it from the mirror. Because there's things like grub EFI, and grub isn't actually installed by default in the live session, in the squash face on Debian images, so we have to configure that first and then install it.
Okay. Well, when I show my installations, I'm always cheating a little bit. I put the disk of a virtual machine into /tmp into the RAM disk, and this is very fast.
I wonder if we do something.
And that should be doable in less than 5 minutes.
It should be, but my TMPFS is about 7.6 gig large right now, so if you look at my last line, also not quite.
Any more? Ooh.
It's almost done. It's just creating init ramfs. That's always the longest part. Someone needs to fix that one day.
Okay, we have a little more time, I guess.
Okay. It's like it's done copying, so the worst is over.
So, anybody know any songs? How are we doing?
It's doing final installation sources.
Any more questions?
There we go, and it's done. So, not quite a full yes, but very close to. Maybe next year I'll do this again. Let me actually boot from hard disk.
6 minutes 25.
Okay, next year I'll aim to get it down to under 5. Maybe I'll have a more powerful laptop, and that will go a lot better. But yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
Okay,
that's all our speakers for today. The next session, next there's the live demo session on Thursday?
Saturday.
No, Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Live demos, now he's confused me. Live demos Thursday, 4 p.m. There's also the next lightning talk session at Saturday, thank you, 1:30. If you want to submit for either of those, please send email to islightningreal@debconf.org. And yes, we very much encourage submissions, as it were. Thank you very much for showing up, and have a lovely rest of the afternoon.